First of all, we're ready to begin the program, so I like to, it's the same thing every year, but that's the way it is. We ask that you, if you have a cell phone, to please turn it off. And also we request that if you're able, to please stand during the posting of the colors and remain standing for the performance of our national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner, the recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance, and the reading of the Memorial Day prayer. After the prayer, you may be seated. Thank you. And we'd like to say we are being videotaped by Mr. Bill Calton today, so we appreciate that, Bill, very much. All right, posting of the colors. Please rise. And salute.
Like our host colors. And salute.
Now I have Legion Commander Gary Gruba lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
On the cover.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'd like to have our Legion Chaplain, Bill Petrusky, please come forward and he will read the Memorial Day prayer.
Let us pray. Almighty God, give us all victories. We thank Thee for the opportunity to which to abide in our land, for Thy guidance in the hour of peril and the tender love in times of need. Help us remember the reverence for the valor and devotion of our departed comrades, not only for those bodies that consecrate this country's soils, but also those who sleep beyond the seas, and those others that are resting places that will not be known until the last day. when the deep will have given up its dead. O God, teach us in honor of them to never cherish the ideals for which they fought. Keep us standfast in the cause of human rights and liberties, of law and order and true Americanism. Give us the power to see and the will to do the right. Grant that American Legion may preserve the high ordeals for which our comrades died. May they mercifully bless the rest upon that left behind us. Keep us forever firm in righteousness, humble in heart, and unselfish in purpose. Amen.
Amen. Cover.
Oh, you may be seated. Just a few opening remarks, and we'll keep it brief. On behalf of Earl J. Howe, Post 298 in Foley, American Foley Legion Auxiliary, and the Foley Squadron of the Sons of American Legion, we welcome all of you to the 2024 Memorial Day program. The program is intended to be a solemn event in which we pay tribute and honor to all deceased veterans, and therefore we request that we have no applause during the program. Also in the past, I'd like to do some thank yous real quick. We have the following. First of all, to all of you again in attendance today, taking time out on this weekend. Second, to Foley High School staff and students, especially, for taking part in the program, Ms. Hesh and the band. Benton County News for publishing the names of those departed veterans. And on that particular note, I'd like to say I met with the reporter from the Benton County News, and he's here, so we do appreciate that, Hansi, being here. Also, I'd like to thank those who donated any money to get the names published in the Benton County News. We truly appreciate the businesses that did that. And if I fail to, before I forget, Foley Floral made us a really nice wreath. If you had a chance to visit our Veterans Memorial, which is over by the courthouse, there's a really nice wreath there. Foley Floral got that wreath for us. So we really appreciate what they did for that. It really looks nice out there. If there's anybody else that I did forget, I certainly apologize, and next year, hopefully I'll have it all correct. The last thing I'd like to say is, once again, we had no students apply for Boys State. At the American Legion, they offer a Boys State program. And it bothers me when we don't have that, because it seems like there's just an overall decrease in patriotism, not amongst not only the young, but amongst everybody. That's why I certainly appreciate the students here that came, those that may be in the audience. I'd love to see this place just packed with people. And if anyone has any suggestions how to get more people involved on Memorial Day coming to this program, any Legionnaire is certainly receptive to those suggestions. So, the last thing I'll say is at about 10:45, 11 o'clock, the Honor Guard will be at Gilman for a short ceremony out at Gilman. So with that, we will now get to the printed program, the rest of the program. I'd like to invite Jack Brosh, who is a member of the SAL, to come forward, and he will be reading the Gettysburg Address.
Good morning. I just wanted to give you a little foresight into this speech Abraham Lincoln gave at that day, what happened previous to that. So after a 3-day battle against the Union Army at Gettysburg, Robert E. Lee's Confederate Army retreated on July 4th, 1863. The battle was not only a major turning point in favor of the Union Army, but was also the largest and most devastating of the war, with total casualties numbering over 50,000. 4.5 months later, the process of reburying the thousands of bodies that had been shallowly interred on the battlefield had begun, but was not yet complete. In this sobering setting, Lincoln delivered a brief address to an audience of about 15,000 people who interrupted him 5 times to applaud. Newspapers across the North also responded very favorably. Lincoln's comment that day, however, comprised only a brief moment in the cemetery's dedication. "407 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation, or any nation so conceived and so dedicated, can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note, nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Abraham Lincoln.
Thank you, Jack. I would like to have Tanner Brosh come to the podium. Tanner is an SAL member, and he will be doing I Am the Flag.
I am the flag. I am the flag of the United States of America. My name is Old Glory. I fly atop the world's tallest buildings. I stand watch in America's halls of justice. I fly majestically over institutions of learning. I stand guard with power in the world. Look up and see me. I stand for peace, honor, truth, and justice. I stand for freedom. I am confident. I am arrogant. I am proud. When I am flown with my fellow banners, my head is a little higher. My colors a little truer. I bow to no one. I am recognized all over the world. I am worshipped. I am saluted. I am loved. I am revered. I am respected. I am feared. I have fought in every battle of every war for more than 200 years. I was flown at Valley Forge, Gettysburg, Shiloh, and Appomattox. I was there at San Juan Hill, the trenches of France, in the Argonne Forest, Anzio, Rome, and the beaches of Normandy. Guam, Okinawa, Korea, and Quezon, Saigon, Vietnam know me. I was there. I led my troops. I was dirty, battle-worn, and tired, but my soldiers cheered for me, and I was proud. I have been burned, torn, trampled on the streets of countries I've helped set free. It does not hurt, for I am invincible. I have been soiled upon, burned, torn, and trampled in the streets of my country, and when it's done by those whom I've served in battle, it hurts. But I shall overcome, for I am strong. I have slipped the bonds of earth and stood watch over the uncharted frontiers of space from my vantage point on the moon. I have borne silent witness to all of America's finest hours, but my finest hours are yet to come. When I am torn into strips and used as bandages for my wounded comrades on the battlefield, when I am flown at half-mast to honor my soldier, or when I lie in the trembling arms of a grieving parent at the grave of their fallen son or daughter, I am proud. I am the flag of the United States of America.
Thank you, Tanner. I'm going to ask Ms. Hesh to come forward, and she will tell us a little bit about the selection the band is going to play.
This piece is called A Celebration of Taps. This arrangement, as the ever-familiar taps, was inspired by a ceremony that was held at Arlington National Cemetery in May of 2012. The occasion marked the 150th anniversary of taps and featured approximately 150 buglers assembled together to pay tribute to the piece, first in a mass playing of the tune, and then at noon by dispersing into all parts of the cemetery and playing individual renditions of this melody. The effect of this was very moving and in some ways mysterious. The melody echoed throughout the vast space of Arlington, so the listener heard the bugles that were close and the ones that were far away in some different keys, all contributing to the tapestry of sound. This is the celebration of taps.
Thank you. It's beautiful. The next item on the program is the keynote speaker. And I just start off by saying that over the past few years, it's been increasingly difficult to find a keynote speaker for the program. And we at the Post 298, we're quite fortunate, at least in my opinion, to have among our ranks a talented and excellent speaker. And his name is Joe Caprath. And many of you in attendance here, I'm looking out and I know a lot of you people, and many of you know Joe. But for those who don't, I'd like to say a few words of introduction. Joe is a lifelong resident of the city of Foley. He and his wife Jan made their home here, raised a wonderful family, their son Jeff and daughter Jill, and they continue to make Foley their residence. And Joe has always been active and continues to be very active in numerous civic and military organizations throughout central Minnesota, and in fact throughout the state. He's been our past Legion commander. He's been a commander over at the St. Cloud VFW. And at present, he's proudly serving, I believe I got this right, as president of the state of Minnesota Veterans Memorial Association. And he was also recognized for all his community activism. I think it was 2023, you were citizen of Foley, I believe. Is that correct? So, I know Joe really well, and he is a special person when it comes to community and doing and helping out in any way possible. He's also very active in the CARE organization, if you know what that is. So it's with tremendous gratitude and respect that I would call to the podium to give the Memorial Day keynote address fellow Legionnaire Joe Caprath.
I didn't expect all that. The other day, I was in my den doing something on the computer, and someone sent me a short video, a little YouTube type video thing, and it was of an army unit rotating back to the United States from Afghanistan. That's an entire unit. The airplane landed in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and the United States Army sent out 4 huge, beautiful white buses to pick up the soldiers. And the soldiers got on the bus, and the little convoy was going to proceed to Fort Carson. And en route to Fort Carson, cars would flick their headlights, honk their horns, they'd stop, people would get out, salute, wave. It had a police escort. It was a great little homecoming. And I stopped to think, as great as this homecoming was, the homecoming that us Vietnam era veterans had. So I just want to start out saying that we weren't quite as welcomed, and any Vietnam era troops in the room today, we can't say it too often, welcome home. I was thinking about this Memorial Day when we pay homage to our boys, and for the most part they were boys that never returned at all. Possibly the remains, not the boy. Then in conversation with someone, they said it always happens to someone else, or the tragedy always happens somewhere else. Well, it does happen to Minnesota, to Little Benton County, and little old Foley. I want to take a look at one of our own, a look at his life before we lost him. The easy pick, because information is readily available, and it's a soldier from the local Foley area. He's our Foley American Legion is named after him, Earl James Howe. Earl James Howe was born October 14th, 1895 in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, to William Sr. and Fiona Howe. By all accounts, he was a very affable, nice-looking young man. We have a couple of pictures of him hanging up at the Legion. He was raised just south of 3rd and Dewey, downtown Foley, a little tan house, second one in, across from the veterinarian's clinic. Some may recognize some of his buddies, the last names anyway, the people he hung out with: old Lewis Henry, Ralph Schultz, Ralph Lateral, Jack McGee, and Joe Scott. We have a picture of the whole clan kind of gathered together, hanging up at the Legion. A nice-looking bunch of young men. He worked in the men's department at Tressman and LeBlanc. According to Sebasneski, a local banker, said, quote, "He had quite a show. When a customer stopped in to buy a hat, he would convince them to possibly buy a new overcoat, a three-piece suit, a few shirts, a tie, and new shoes." He left for the Army February 7th, 1918, following his brother Ray, who had already enlisted. His military journey took him to France. Near the Rhine-Marne Canal, he was killed. October 10th, 1918, only 10 months after he enlisted, 4 days short of his 23rd birthday. He was buried at the Argonne Cemetery near Verdun, France, along with 14,245 other military casualties. At the conclusion of World War I, the families of lost soldiers had the option. They could either have the remains disinterred and brought back and reburied here, or the United States government, along with the French government, would take one member of the family over to visit the grave. We have a photo up in the Legion of Fiona visiting his grave. A guest of the United States government and of France, and France gave her a little pin to wear, a little ribbon. We have a picture of the same grave 53 years later when Earl James Howe's sister visited the grave wearing the same ribbon. A neighbor of Mrs. Howe's, Mrs. Majewski, said that in Fiona's older days, she would pace in the front porch calling loudly for Earl to come home. She said it wasn't scary, it was just sad. Earl never got a welcome home or a ride on a big white bus. There were other local boys lost in World War I. They never got a welcome home. They never got a ride in the big white bus. In June of 1946, the state of Minnesota released a list of dead and missing servicemen broken down by county. Benton County listed 47 names. They never got a ride home or a ride on the big white bus. Then we come to Korea, Vietnam. We know there were several locals that died there but never got a welcome home or a ride on the big white bus. The point is, it's not always the other guys, nor is always someone from somewhere else. We have locally paid the price. And we should recognize the difference between Veterans Day, when we honor all veterans, and this day, Memorial Day, when we pay homage to those who died for us. Locally, people know that I collect government memorabilia, or military memorabilia, and I put it up at the Legion, and I collect any little cute sayings or whatever they forward. Someone gave me this last Friday, and I think it's worth sharing. Today will be the most expensive holiday on the planet. Every hot dog, every burger, every spin around the lake or drink with friends and family is a debt purchased by others. This is not all about those who have served. That day comes in the fall. This one is in honor of those who paid in life, in blood, whose moms never saw them again, whose dads wept in private, whose wives raised kids alone, and whose kids only remember them from pictures. This isn't simply a day off. This is a day to remember that others paid for every free breath you ever get to take. Freedom. I would encourage any of you who have not yet visited our beautiful Veterans Memorial, take a minute, do so. And those of you that have visited, please stop again. We must never forget. God bless all of you. God bless our veterans, and God bless America.
Thank you, Joe. I'd like to now have a Legion member, Gary Swanson, come forward, and he will be doing In Flanders Fields.
In Flanders Fields. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place. And in the sky, the larks, still bravely singing, fly. Scarce heard amid the guns below, we are the dead. Short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow. Loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands, we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If you break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow through Flanders Fields.
Thank you, Gary. Next item is, in the past, it's been done, it's been read by Jane Swanson, who's a member of the auxiliary for a number of years. And the torch has been passed to Riley Brosh. And Riley is a Legion auxiliary member, so I would ask Riley to come forward, and she will be reciting I Am the Poppy.
I am the poppy, so small and red, bowing my head where blood was shed, remembering the heroes, young and old, who went to war as they were told, to protect their country and families and help to keep them both free. Many fell in the war zones, never again to see their homes. Some returned to their beloved land, disabled and needing a helping hand. Heroes grow old and are in need of care. Remember them as a poppy you wear. To honor the dead and help the living, it's for this cause you are giving. Wear me proudly on Poppy Day. Your gifts will help in many ways. I am the red poppy of sacrifice. I lift my head and proudly face life.
Thank you, Riley. The next item is going to be the roll call of past year's deceased veterans. And prior to having Legionnaire Jim Almond come up and do that, I have to apologize to the Donald Corrigan family, and I need to acknowledge his name. For some reason, there was an oversight or an error somewhere. We did not get his name in the Benton County News. Mr. Corrigan is buried at St. Lawrence Cemetery in Dwellum. So again, I certainly we will make the corrections. And if there's anyone else who knows of a name that's not, if you read that and you can't see your loved one's name there, your relative or whatever, please contact myself or a member of the Legion so that we can get the name to the Benton County News, and it will be published next year. But again, for this year, I know for sure, I checked it myself and Mr. Corrigan's name is there. So to Donald's family, again, we apologize. To read to read past year's passing of veterans in this area that we know of, I'm going to ask Legionnaire Jim Almond to come forward, and he will be reading it.
From St. Peter's and Paul's in Gilman, Dale Lewandowski, John Stavorsky, Vince Radke, Ernest Ernie Lewandowski, and James Jim Hodak. From St. Elizabeth's in Brenniville, John Halava and William Hellman. St. Patrick's Cemetery in St. Patrick's, Maurice Corrigan. St. Lawrence and Dwellum, Everett E. Hall. St. Louis and Forston, Melvin Gruba. Maywood Covenant, Roland Bergstrom. Minnesota State Veterans Cemetery, Gerald Pazorski, Stanley Zink, Charles Charlie Tangen, James Jim Novak. Other cemeteries, Lemire and Pete Petuzik, James Nordvik, Steve Ulrich, and Charles A. Stark.
Thank you, Jim. And again, I just want to reiterate, if there's any veterans that are not on the list in the Benton County News, please get a hold again of either myself or somebody. We want to make sure we get every possible name and we get it correct. The next item on the agenda is I'm going to play my song. I wrote this song in 2005, and I just can't believe this is going to be I only sing it once a year, and it's 19 years or something already, I guess, so time goes by. But the song still has a lot of meaning for me, and I hope it does for you. The song is called Remember, and Joe Caplett, he talked about that we should never forget, and hopefully we never will. So, here we go. Today we remember sacrifices made by every fallen soldier lying in a grave. Remember, oh yes we do. we remember. Today we honor you. Some gave their life on a distant shore. Others came home but are here no more. Remember them. Now they stand at ease. Remember them. Now may they rest in peace. Mothers and daughters, fathers and sons, brothers and sisters, heroes everyone, we remember all those who have died. We remember with tear-filled eyes. Fighting for freedom, the cause supreme. Army, Guard, and Air Force, Navy, and Marines. Remember all those who are gone. Remember their memory lingers on. To all military in war and peace, we applaud your service, unselfish deeds, and we remember and say a job well done. We remember and thank you, everyone. Let us not forget, living in this land, freedom has a price to pay, we all understand, and we remember all those passed away. We remember on this special day. God bless each veteran for your duty given. May you someday find a place in heaven and be remembered in some small way. Be remembered for the price you paid. Let us not forget, living in this land, freedom has a price to pay, we all understand. So remember, sacrifice is made. Remember, the lives were to gain. Remember this Memorial Day. Remember this Memorial Day. Remember. It's going to be a couple minutes when they're ready, and we would like to certainly thank Pellish for being our bugler from the school here, student.
Brad, please stand.
Yes, please stand if you can. Thank you. We're going to have the retiring of the colors, then we will have the taps played, and that will conclude the program. Again.
And salute. Flag bearers, retrieve colors.
Again, thank you all for coming, and we appreciate it. Have a great what's left of the Memorial Day weekend. God bless you. God bless America.